Bill's here, Ray's here. Big game tonight. And, I'm looking at what the crowd could be at Citi Field. It's normally not a rabid crowd. Now, it'll be more rabid tonight with Mets fans pouring in there. I get it. But I don't think that Citi Field is that intimidating a place for the Phillies. So I think they can go in with a steady hand pitcher. Aaron Nola is nothing if not a steady hand. Sometimes he goes off when his release point is bad, and that's the risk, because to me that's the whole key to tonight's game. Aaron Nola has to get them through 7, and then you got to reduce the margins and hope that the relief pitchers that you will use in those spots succeed rather than not, which they haven't done so far. I can't emphasize how big that is for tonight. I don't see Aaron Nola going past 7. So you're going to have to get an 8th inning out of, depending who's up, either Hoffman, Alvarado, Strom, and then you're going to get Estevez to try to close out this game tonight. I do like the Phillies tonight, though. I do like them. I think what they did on Sunday gives them a lot more offensive confidence to go in there tonight against Sean Manaea. They're going to probably have a total right-handed hitting lineup against them other than Harper. I expect Sosa to be the second baseman. Bohm is back at third base. And I don't know. It's caution to the wind here. If the Phillies win this game, they're in control of the series. I would even expect that they could win it in 4. So let's go to our peeps. Bill, how you feeling about tonight?
I don't know, man. I really don't. I don't have a feel either way. I mean, it's really a toss-up. It could go any way. I'm hoping that you're right, that Aaron Nola comes out and pitches 7 scoreless innings would be great. We've seen him. It's been up and down. 5 really good starts in his postseason career, 4 bad. Last year he had 3 good ones before he had that 1 bad one. But he's been pretty good at Citi Field. He's been pretty good, but I just don't know. Like this Sean Manaea, Phillies had a lot of success against him, especially in the postseason last year when he was with San Diego. They dominated him, 2 years ago in the NLCS. They dominated him. He came on in relief. Phillies in 1 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 5 earned runs. Rhys Hoskins went yard on him. But he's a different pitcher this year. He's having career year, Sean Manaea. His velocity's up. So I don't know how things are going to go tonight.
He's the example of a pitcher who went bad to the point where he had to be demoted to the minor leagues. They didn't think they were going to get anything out of the guy. And somehow he figured it out, and with the tutoring or what their staff did with him, he's a different pitcher. Now he's a weird pitcher in that he starts on the right side of the rubber and then goes completely across his body when he veers out to the left. So that release point is really difficult for a lot of hitters. It's so deceptive. And when he's got his stuff, he's good. But let's look at the dynamics of this game. Bohm will be back in the lineup. Now, I've been reading. There's a headline here that I have to focus on here. Phillies' Alec Bohm says his benching was, quote, a little surprising, but he isn't pouting. Well, you know what he did? He pouted. He pouted because he wasn't in the lineup. He pouted. He went in the outfield, and he looked despondent, and he was talking to some lower-level minor league coach about it. His brain is not in the right spot. And Tom says, I think he's in a good spot. You're saying that crossing your fingers, dude. Now, he's got to be a big hitter in this lineup. He's got to snap out of it. And it remains to be seen whether that's going to happen. But let's look at the New York Mets because their stats, I got to see both sides of this whole thing. This is why the Mets were a frightening opponent, because of their ability to come back in late innings. A lot of teams that don't have that kind of heart will give it up. When things are bleak and, you get the hang dog thing and you start squeezing the bat a little more. Well, starting with the doubleheader against the Braves, needing a win in the first game, they scored 6 runs in the 8th. Game 1 of the wild card against the Brewers, they scored 5 in the 5th. Game 3, they scored 4 in the 9th. And, of course, we saw what they did in Game 1, scoring 5 in the 8th. That is very impressive. And so now on their home field, here's what I look at. In your home field, you don't play as loose. As weird as that sounds, when you're in somebody else's ballpark, the pressure is not there from your home fans. So if you get behind at home, it's a completely different story. And I'm wondering, because all these games have been away from home. You know, they're returning home for the first time in a really long time. If the Phillies have him and Nola pitches well, and the Phillies are, say, up 4-1 late, I'm not sure that this Mets magic applies with the pressure of that home crowd wanting them to succeed.
I hope you're right. I mean, look, the Phillies can certainly do themselves a favor if they get out to an early lead and put the pressure on. Maybe like you said, maybe the emotional carryover from Sunday's game. And if the Phillies can jump on Manaea early, I think you're right. Maybe the Mets start to crumble. But I keep hearing, and I heard Amy say it on the morning show, the Mets are going to Met. I don't know if this Mets team's going to Met.
The Mets haven't metted.
That's what I mean.
So,
I don't know.
So I don't know. You can't use that anymore. They're a different team with a different mindset, and they put together people. It's amazing. These guys really get the value of good at-bats, which the Phillies don't do. The Phillies are not a good at-bat team. The Mets are. And so, and that's why Nola has to be really sharp tonight. His location has to be sharp because if he's not, they'll wait him out. And he'll take some walks. He'll take some close pitches that may be called balls. So it's all in the air tonight. I am not in favor of benching Stott. I am not in favor of playing Rojas instead of Marsh. I'm just not. So we'll see how that goes. That's the way Rob Thompson does it. All right-handed probably against Manaea, who slings from way in the side.
Let me ask you. You said you're not in favor of Rojas over Marsh.
No.
But I think the question is Rojas or it would be Hayes is in left, right? Hayes is definitely starting.
Well, I would assume he is.
I mean, this is why you made the move.
We don't know the lineup yet. So if he plays Rojas in center, Marsh in left, I don't know. I would play Hayes. Hayes has not delivered at all. But I just somehow have this sense that if he gets a shot, he's going to deliver a couple of big hits.
Against Manaea, it's a small sample size, but Hayes is 2 for 3. So he's batting .667. Hitting .667.
Yeah, he's batting.
Hitting 6. You get mad when I say batting.
Yeah, well, it's not the proper lingo.
But I would think
he hits.
He hits .667.
Yeah.
I would think Austin Hayes is definitely in the lineup. The question is, do you go Marsh or Rojas in center? And then the other question would be second base. Do you go Stott or Sosa? Stott's actually had a lot of success against Manaea. He's hitting .429.
Well, in that case, maybe Rob Thompson's shocks. He loves Sosa so much that I think he's going to play Sosa tonight.
Sosa's hitting. I always say batting.
Because it's unnatural for you because you're a football man.
I just have always said batting.
Well, it's always been wrong.
Batting average. Anyway, Sosa's hitting .500. He's 4 for 8 in his career. It'll be interesting. Now, Bohm struggled against Manaea in his career. So we'll see. But this year, everything's different with Manaea this year. Not only is his velocity up, not only is he having a career year, he's got reverse splits this year for the first time in his career, where hitters are actually performing better from the left side of the plate than the right, which is not usually the case throughout his career. Is that just an anomaly, or is that something different that's going on?
Listen, who knows? I try to reduce it to the lowest form, and the lowest form to me is to play your better players. That's what I do. I don't try to overthink it in the playoffs. And if you overthink it, and I thought he overthought it with Sosa playing third base, starting at third base, I didn't think that was the right move at all on any measure, defensively or offensively. You take a guy out who's got 97 RBIs, and you don't know when he's going to strike. Like, you can't bench a guy who's got 97 RBIs and has delivered, even though he's in some kind of a slump. You're overthinking it when you do that, and I hate when Rob Thompson does that.
Speaking of overthinking it, did you see this breaking news from Adam Schefter?
What a segue.
Yeah. Well, before we hit the break, this is big news.
Is this really big news for you?
I think it is.
It is? Robert Saleh gets fired? Is that big news?
Ray, is that not big news?
Do we give a crap about Robert Saleh? In light of what we're talking about here, are you going to give me Robert Saleh getting fired?
Well, we're about to hit the break. I thought our audience should know. It's big news. The reason why I think it's big news is because fans in this city, a lot of them were calling for our head coach to be fired. And I kept saying, this doesn't happen in the NFL this early. Doesn't happen. This isn't the NHL.
To that guy. I mean, that guy's been a crappy coach. How many years? He hasn't gotten it together in any year. He didn't go to a Super Bowl.
Well, once Aaron Rodgers was out on him, it seemed inevitable.
Yeah, all right. Well, in any event, 610-632-0975. Now, we got a jam-packed show here. We got John Shambi, who's going to be calling the game for ESPN Radio at 10:30. We got Todd Zalecki, who covers the Phillies for MLB.com at 11:20. So we'll get both their spins on this game as they have to obviously call the game and report on it. It is the Mike Missanelli Show. We are looking forward to your calls. Yesterday, we sensed that you were a little apprehensive about where this series was going. And I understand it. After what happened Saturday, you were not overwhelmed by even that great victory on Sunday to you feeling confident about the rest of this series. So I want to know how you feel now. Mike Missanelli Show on 97.5 The Fanatic.